Well, dude, how are you? You look gorgeous per usual. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're
Can
so
you
sweet.
can you hear me okay? Everything's good on your end?
You sound awesome. You
Oh,
sound
dude.
awesome. Oh
Oh,
my
well.
gosh. We're here. We
Oh,
made it. We
oh
made
my.
it. Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, hello.
Oh, oh, oh. I love it. I love
This
it.
is
I
so cool.
love it.
Does this thing still, there's a couple, I will get into it, but it's a couple that
No, no.
I have in here. Yeah. There's a couple of faves, dude. Yeah.
I love it.
There's-
I
And
love it.
yeah, I know. I'm really stoked to talk about it. How was your day?
Let me talk let me talk to you. How are you? How are you, my friend? I've been
I'm
MIA offline, so I
okay.
apologize. I've just been like tunnel vision
No.
here on this
Yeah.
side of the world. But tell me, how are you? I'm so proud of you. Let me
Thank
just say that
you.
right off the bat.
Well, that's so sweet of you. You're so kind and you're so like genuine and awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been great, dude. I've been putting in a lot of work. I'm staying busy. I'm doing like a lot of different things. Sometimes sometimes people are like, "Oh, well, what do you do?" And
hmm.
you know, I've got a catering company. I chef for
What?
people. But also like I have a podcast. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, then I also pick up odd jobs or I do like acting or modeling sometimes. It's just, I mean, I do a little bit of everything, and
Yeah.
I think that that's okay. I think that like sometimes people get too like focused on just like I am an attorney or whatever, right? And that's great.
Hmm.
And that I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's awesome. But like I tend to kind of like do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But life's good. I've had a girlfriend for the last like 5 months. She's really sweet. First time
Mm.
I've dated older. What? And not that
Dude,
I know.
I
Well,
love it.
I just turned
This is not going
39.
on the podcast, right? It's just us
It
just
is.
chatting right
Yeah,
now.
no, this
It
is
is?
it. Yeah, this is
Okay.
podcast. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't do like a corny intro or anything. I kind of just like
Okay.
roll with it. So
Well, the
welcome
reason why I'm
in,
asking is
Tippy
because
Wyatt.
I didn't know like I'm gonna say, let me fix myself
Tippy,
on camera and then we're just
you
gonna go into
literally
it.
you look like an absolute queen, dude. There's no
You're
doubt
so
about
sweet.
it.
You're so
Yeah,
sweet.
no, dude, I'm just being honest and genuine. That's it. But and Ryan is a lucky dog, but isn't he such a great guy, right? Your husband,
He's the
Ryan?
best. He's the
He's
best.
he's
Yeah.
honestly so awesome. It was funny when I reached out to you a couple weeks ago or whatever, and I've been
Uh-huh.
trying to. Dude. I mean, like I'm almost up to like 70 episodes, and and I started it at the 1st of February. But when I reached out to you a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and you're
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, Ryan's really loud." You're like, "So I need to find the time where we can like meet." But I,
Well, full
yeah,
disclosure, so I
yeah.
actually am at a coffee shop that I found this
Oh,
week in
really?
South Lake. You're familiar with
Cute.
South Lake, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, my
so,
best friend's from there. Yeah.
oh, awesome. So, you know how the calendar just fills up quickly, quickly, quickly throughout the week? And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Right.
okay, so cool. He doesn't have a call. We can make this happen. It's gonna be
Yeah.
quiet in the office. Nope. Our calendar filled up so quick, and I said, okay, I'm not canceling on Andy. I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna go to my little coffee shop that I go to when I need a
Oh,
little bit of fresh air and get out of the
oh,
house. And
well,
so
thank
this is an
you.
audible that I'm pulling right here. And so that's why I said, I don't
Nice.
know how I'm gonna look on camera right now. This is not my usual battle station. So
Oh,
let me
oh.
just get on camera and then
Well,
we'll adjust
dude,
and fix it
well,
as we
thank
go.
you. I appreciate you
Yeah.
making the time, Tiffy. That's really kind of you. And I know, but like that's a good thing though, because Titan Wizards, what in the heck? I mean, first of all, this is relatable, okay? This is
Okay,
my
let's just
podcast.
this is
And
relatable. I
yeah,
love it.
and it is, and that's why I'm having you on because you're so relatable, but you're not. You're a different breed. You're like you've got that entrepreneurship, which is what my podcast is all about, right? Because I called it relatable because, well, it just came to me, but also, the 8 pillars of society. So whether that's, mental health, fashion, fitness, entrepreneurship, real estate, business, all these things that, both you, I, Ryan, and a lot of the people that I've just like grown up with and like my career has kind of taken me in this interesting roller coaster of just like different avenues, right? And so I've met all these incredible people like yourself. And so it was like, being a sportscaster for 7 years prior to going into tech sales, I've always been a storyteller. And so like I've always told these stories, but now it's really cool to like have someone like yourself on Tippy because then I can let you tell your story, which is really neat. So thank you. Thank you. It's so good to see you. Are you happy for the weekend? It's the weekend, and I'm sure that you guys have been grinding all week. So,
Yeah, I'm so happy for the weekend. I always forget how many, how fast the week goes, and I always forget what day it is. Some days they all kind of
yeah,
commingle together and blend in together. I've got a
yeah,
really, really, I mean, I'm so fortunate. I'm so blessed over here to be as busy as I am. Truly, it's not a complaint by any means, but my life is just hectic right now. It's just super duper hectic right now.
yeah,
So I try to unplug on the weekends, but as an entrepreneur, we trade the 9 to 5 for the 24/7. So we don't really get that luxury of it. But there's other freedoms along with it too. So,
for
no
sure.
complaints. I
Yeah,
just like
that,
to unplug during the weekend. Like I
dude.
honestly like doing nothing with my favorite people is what I love doing on the weekends. Let me
Yes,
just say that.
yeah,
What are your plans? Doing nothing with my favorite people. I don't know what nothing
seriously,
means. Yeah, but
right.
yeah, that's really what I do my weekends.
I love that because also like my girl, she always gives me crud because she's like, you're so like, because I do have like a presence online or whatever, and I've got to, post videos and stuff like that and do whatever. But like honestly, I'm the one that's like leaving my phone at the table, never looking at it. I try not to get so engulfed in that. And I think that that's something that like, and I know that you are a big advocate of mental health and things like that. And so it's like, I try to just, I don't make that my life. That's not my life. Like, I enjoy doing everything that I do and it's fun and it's fulfilling and it brings me great joy. And I love like sharing different things, but that's not like who I am or what I'm defined by. So I also like to just literally I put my phone on silent and I won't answer it all weekend. And like, if
I
you
love
really
that.
if you really need me, you can get me, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just don't want to be like just like totally enamored and having to be by that all the time. And I think
That's easy
that's
to do, Andy, in the
mm,
in the social media world. If your platforms are built on that, and I've been there, I've done that, but you
right.
already know I love a good digital detox as much as the next person. I may like
Yes.
it even more
Yeah.
than the next person. I may like it
Right.
more than a lot of people. I'm on a
Right.
digital detox right now, so when you hit me up, I'm like, hey, this is my friend, this is my homie. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna jump on. Otherwise, I'm like nowhere to be found right now because I, I'm in the stage where I gotta be head down and I'm
yeah.
scaling and I'm building. And sometimes I like to build in silence,
Oh,
because
for
there's more
sure.
clarity for
Hmm.
that. And I love that you said, hey, I put my phone away and whatnot, because it's so easy to be ingrained and that's just your life,
Hmm.
and you're living
Right.
through that screen, you're living through the dopamine hits, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Sometimes it feels artificial, right? You know what I mean? What's
For
real is like the
sure.
in person, that
Hmm.
artificial dopamine hit is real. Been there,
Ooh,
had a
yep.
YouTube channel, and listen, I definitely know it's part of business because
Hmm.
social media obviously can elevate, can bring opportunities, can bring
Hmm.
partnerships, and all of those things that you've experienced, my friend,
Right.
right? So
Yep.
it's a good thing, but there's gonna be some limitations and some boundaries you gotta put on there
Yep.
because you give too much of yourself away.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a slippery slope. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying?
gosh. Yes.
Slippery
Yeah.
slope.
Dude, I
And then
do.
you're defined by a lot of, like I said, these artificial dopamine hit. You got a girlfriend
Hmm.
now, you've been dating for a few months. You're going to invest more attention and time into that.
Right.
What's real is what's happening in front of you
Thank
because
you.
in this day and age, geez, when I go online now, it's like I don't know what's real, right? With the
Oh
whole
my
entire
gosh.
landscape
AI.
of AI.
Oh,
Ooh, that's
yo, the other,
scary.
I know, even, okay. So for someone that's, yes, Well said, beautifully said. For one, just to give you an aspect of that, like the other day, I was looking on TikTok. And I don't like, I went through that whole deal where I got into like a wormhole of TikTok because you can just go and it's made to where it's just joom, 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 and you just kind of, it's like a habitual deal. And you just all of a sudden you're just going down it and it's like very addicting, right? But like I
By
was
design.
it is by
By
design.
design.
1000%. Absolutely. This movement, like
Hmm.
swipe up, like that whole thing, or swipe right or swipe left, that's by design, right? I mean,
You know, kids do that in their sleep now. There are studies. They literally are sleeping and they're just
oh
like
my
doing it in their sleep.
gosh.
Like that. Like
No.
legit, legit. I mean, not try to derail
No.
what you're trying to say,
No,
but that's
that's
scary.
gnarly. It's super gnarly. Yeah. I was gonna say though, like the other day though, I was looking at TikTok and those that plane crash, the America India or India Air or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the plane crash, but and I said, Rachel, look at this video of the plane. I haven't seen this view, and she was like, she looked at it for maybe 10, maybe less than 10 seconds. She's like, that's AI. I was like, and then you look closer and then you see like the flames are like not real. I was like, wow. And here I am. Can you imagine? I don't know if somebody's from, this, not to, tell anybody that they're doing wrong, but the sticks of Kentucky or maybe
Yeah,
an older person that doesn't get online often and then they see that and they think it's real. It's like,
that's my mom.
right. Well, yeah. Yeah. Is that your mom? Yeah.
That's my
She's
mom.
like, look, Tippy. And you're like, Mom,
Yeah.
that's not real. And you're like, and
Oh, all day.
she's like, what? No, it is real. You're like, no, it's not. And she's like, oh, okay. I see.
Hmm.
It's scary because it's also scary for like, projecting like whatever type of like political movements or narratives that they want to put on us. It's pretty gnarly, dude. Oh,
Yeah, it's
gosh.
scary. It's so scary. And here's the thing. I think that you, especially kids, right? Especially
Mhm.
kids. You talk about the platform TikTok right now. They're
Right.
so malleable. Their attention, who they are, they're so impressionable. They will believe what
Mhm.
they see because, they're kids, they're young, right? And
Yes.
even adults, even yourself, you're like, oh, look at this plane crash right now, showing it to Rachel, and you're like, wait, that's not real. Even we
Yeah.
can't even decipher between it. You imagine
Right.
our kids, you imagine older folks, elderly folks that,
I
are not
know.
as tech adept, right? So I truly think it's an issue, and I do.
Yeah.
That's why I am
It's
more of an
scary.
in-person kind of person. Catch me in
Yes.
person. I've transitioned from that. I've shared my life. Like you said, you could leverage social media to definitely
Hmm.
gain more opportunities in your life, but the more you know about it, you're not gonna be the victim of it, right?
So,
Like you,
yeah,
you're like,
right.
hey, I know some things are fake, and I'm just gonna use a discerning eye with it, right?
Right. Well, so for you, because my brother and his wife, they live in Fort Worth or just like
Yes.
west of Fort Worth. Yeah. And they have this incredible kid. His name's Bowden. He is just like, and he's just so amazing. Like my nephew is like, and I know everyone says that and they're like, yeah, but like this kid is genius. Like he's literally like incredible. He's still a little boy. He still gets naked and jumps in the water and gets muddy and like whatever. But he also like is like reading periodic tables that are like made for adults and like he's into science and things like that. Like my mom's today, she was all stoked earlier when I talked to her, Tippy, because
Yeah.
she was like, Bowden's coming over and he wants to talk about biology. And she's like, because she's a scientist and stuff. And she was like, yeah, he still carries around his little like dragon stuffed animal that I got him a couple of years ago. But she's like, now he has like little germs, I guess, germ stuffed animals. I'm like, wow. So he's a little smarty pants, dude. He's
Yeah.
like, I mean, the kid is like, he speaks he speaks more Spanish than our entire family combined. It's incredible. I'm curious, as a mother of two boys, correct? Two little
Yes,
toddlers. Yeah,
four
two.
one,
What is it? What is it?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. Okay, awesome. Oh wow. Dang, dude. What? You just had a baby and you look like that? That's crazy. Four
You're
and
so
one.
sweet.
No, I mean it's just obvious. Like you guys keep great, and I want to talk about that too as we move forward. About the fitness journey of because Ryan has he's had a journey himself, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we all do, right? But I want to definitely go there. But so for you guys though, 4 and 1, how do you manage that situation with like the iPads and like obviously there's a time where they can go watch. I mean, you want them to watch cartoons and stuff or whatever, and like yeah, there's a moment where mom and dad need to kind of like have some R&R or whatever, or just chill out. And like yeah, you give them the iPad, but also there's a fine line. And then also with everything that's out there, speaking of the AI and stuff like that, how do you manage that, Tippy? As a mother and a partnership with you and Ryan and as
Hmm.
as mom and dad, you know?
That's a good question. I think I want to take this back a couple years. Before we had kids, we both decided what our boundaries were going to be with technology. Having kind of shared a little bit of my life, really a sliver. You know how when you share a little bit of your life, they think it's your whole entire life. So,
Mm.
that's just part of that. And so, one of
Mhm.
the things that I have found through sharing kind of a piece of my life on my YouTube channel for a few years, I didn't want my children to be immersed in the technology right off the
Mhm.
bat. And so we decided we weren't going to have our kids online. As a proud mother of two beautiful boys, I keep it private. The technology boundary was there. And then we
Mhm.
even went further and being like, okay, we want we want to live TV free. And we didn't
Mhm.
have a TV for 3 years,
Damn.
okay? 3 years, okay? So we
We
focused.
weren't watching any football. What were we, No?
No, we weren't watching
Wow.
anything. It was just you go outside, you play, you
Yeah.
connect without any type of TV, without any type of
Connect with
technology.
nature.
Now,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, we're entrepreneurs. I've always,
Yeah.
for 10 years, I've been an entrepreneur, online
Mhm.
entrepreneurs to be specific. So you can imagine how much I'm connected. If there's
Yes.
Wi-Fi, I'm connected, right? And so
Mhm.
I knew that it could have been a slippery slope. But here's the thing, to, I wanted my kids to be a kid. I want you to go and
Yeah.
dig worms outside. I want you to put
Right.
your feet, all over the grass, go in
Right.
muddy feet and boots.
Make mud pies
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, right.
Or
Yeah.
I don't want to take that away from them. I never
Mhm.
want to take that away from them. So we really limit technology. We just got a TV just this year. Let me just say that. And
Mhm.
so we don't do TV in the morning. That's really our time to connect.
Cool.
And
Oh,
our children
beautiful.
know that. We have times for that. We don't have an iPad for them. That's not something
Yeah.
we've been a part of. And we've held out for quite some time, Andy. It's not normal, and we do get looks and judgments from like, hey, they're eventually going to see a TV. They're eventually going to see an iPad. Well, you went to Hawaii. Their cousins are very tech immersed. They have four
Hmm.
boy cousins, and all of them they're gamers. So tons
Oh,
of
okay.
technology around,
Yeah.
right? And so he's leaning with his cousin. He's looking at, cousin's iPad and things like that. Yes, he
Mhm.
knows it's there, but it's not
Right.
the norm in our family.
Cool.
It's
I
not the
love that.
norm. So there's some limitations. When we're at dinner, we're eating dinner. If,
Right.
when they get to that age, they're a little bit too small, but I like to have a purse full of, things that we bring, Uno cards, the
Oh,
little monkey
cool.
hooks that we could play
Fun.
at the
Yeah.
table while we're waiting
So
for
it's
our food,
yeah, so
right?
yeah, right. Like and
Yeah.
also it's like tangible things. So you're like actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and don't get
awesome.
me wrong. There are times that we put on the TV for them. There are times that we do that, but it's with limitations and with boundaries. And it's so easy
Yeah.
to use it all the time as your babysitter. Trust me, I
Yeah.
know that, and I don't judge anybody for it. Everyone can make their
Sure.
own decisions based
Absolutely.
on their own family and their goals.
Absolutely.
Ours
Yeah.
is to connect more, without
Ah.
that dopamine hit, to connect more in real life without that
Yeah.
artificial dopamine hit,
Yeah.
without creating addicts. I want them,
Yeah.
yeah, I only get two. I'm going to know my
Mhm.
children more as an adult than I will know them as children, okay?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that, I only have 18 summers with my kids, Andy, really. My
Yeah.
4 year old,
Right.
I only have 14 more summers. And that
Wow.
hits so hard as a
Right.
parent.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to know them more as an adult than as
Mhm.
a child. And so these moments are so incredibly precious. And that's why people are like, you're so private with your children. I was like, yeah, I am so private because
Yeah,
to me, like the best things in life, I'm not going to share online. And that's
yeah,
just because
yeah,
that's just my rule, you know? If you
yeah.
know me, we talk in real life, I'll share you those things, you know? You meet me
Sure.
in person, you'll meet my children, you know?
Hmm.
But to me, like that relationship is like for real life, you
That's
know?
so badass, dude. You should like literally pat yourself on the back right now. Please do it. Just pat yourself just right there. That a girl. Yes. Because that is super badass. Honestly, like that is a boundary, right?
It's
That
hard. It's hard, Andy, because I'm not the norm, you know? It's
right,
so hard. It really
right.
is.
I
And
believe it.
again,
No, I can imagine. I mean, I
no judgment to anybody that does it. I
sure.
promise, you know?
But it's also really fantastic. I just love it. I think that what you guys are doing is really it's different, man. It's just like it's not easy. It's tough, but at the same time, it's like, man, you're not only are you giving your boys like an incredible opportunity to like actually see the world and not see whatever is out there, right? But
Hmm.
also it's like you guys are like you said, I mean, you said something that caught my attention when you said well, everything that you say catches my attention. It's pretty cool. But you said about like I only have 18 summers or I only have 14 more summers left or whatever. And it's like I saw something about like leaving your dog at home and like and you only get like 10 more summers with the dog. So why would you not take the dog? Because the dog wants to go in the car, the dog wants to go for a ride. And now you're talking about like a human being. I think that's pretty gnarly. Wow. That's
Yeah.
cool. And I bet like also, I don't know, are the kids obviously they're active, so they're always outside and stuff like that. Are they into athletics? Do they like sports or I mean,
You know, ironically, so we live in Fort Worth, right?
right?
And it's Cowtown here. You know this, you know?
Oh,
And
what, they're bull riders?
wants to be in the rodeo. You know, my
Wow,
firstborn,
sick.
he's like, I want to be in the rodeo, mom. I want to lasso cows. I want to do all that. So he's really into like getting his hands dirty. Obviously, cowboy. That's literally
Cool.
like what he wants to do. You know, stockyards is one of his favorite
Oh,
destinations, you
cool.
know,
Really?
and
Yeah.
the longhorn is his favorite animal. And they're boys, you know, they're
Yeah.
really boys. And, and here's the thing. I'm seeing them how they develop, and it's really important to me to guide them. I'm not going to make the decision for what they want to be. I'm going to guide them, you
Hmm.
know? And
Yeah.
so, they are very active, more so liking jujitsu than anything.
Oh, nice.
Very
Really? They've gotten
natural.
into that? That's cool.
Yeah, so well, my 4-year-old, they have to be five. They want to take mature 5-year-olds, and so we're gonna get there. He turns 5 in October, and we're gonna put him in there. But I don't know if you know this. I've taken jujitsu myself, and I really enjoyed it. And it was just
Mhm.
one of those things I really enjoyed. And so my son's really naturally gifted at it, you know. And I think we might
Nice.
go
Wow,
kind of
really?
more that route, you know. And incredibly strong boys. These boys are like, Ryan, he's a big guy. These boys
Yeah.
are big. People can't believe they came out of me, man. I swear to you, they came out of me. You know,
Seriously.
yeah,
Dang.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah.
yeah, you'll meet them and
They've
you'll
got
be
like
like,
big
yeah,
shoulders and stuff, and they're just like little tanks or what? Yeah.
yeah, they're like in the 90 percentile, 95
Wow.
percentile. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if that's
Big
gonna
old
all
heads
go
and stuff.
through. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna be, but they're certainly gonna be bigger than me. I'm not a big person per se, but they're gonna be much bigger than me, probably before they're even 10, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
so
5'6". I'm
fun.
not like super short, you know, but
Yeah, right.
they're big boys, and they really like, to me, it's really important for them to discover and have more critical thinking skills and things of this age. And I kind of take the
Nice.
Japanese approach when raising my kids. I don't know what tangent we're going to go off here.
So please do. I
But
mean, that's what this is all about. Yeah.
okay.
No,
um, I
seriously. Yeah.
I kind of take the Japanese approach, and like they don't focus on the ABCs 1, 2, 3 before 5. They focus on the mannerism. They focus on kind
Mm.
of like my boys. They love, I love to cook. You love to cook. We have that very much in common here. We're foodies, and oh man, we love a good,
It's well,
meal.
because there's, you know what it is, Tippy. It's probably
Yeah, tell
because of
me.
the way that you were brought up, but and the same way that I was brought up. It's like it's communal, it's love,
Mm,
it's creative. You're
that's
getting
right.
your hands in there, and right?
That's right. And they
Right.
love doing that. And so
Yes.
whatever it is I'm doing, I make noodles from scratch. They're in there with their hands they
Yeah.
love that. They
That's
love doing that. It's
awesome.
creative. It's awesome. To me, those matter more than the
Mhm.
ABCs and one, two, threes because
Yeah.
we're gonna learn that. You're gonna
Right.
get there. We
For
live in
sure.
America. We're gonna learn English. It's not a big deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me.
Yeah.
So I have parents that tell me like my kid knows how to count to 100. Well, my kid doesn't know how to count to 100. But well, let me tell you what my kid knows how to do, right?
Yeah. He
He
knows.
he
Yeah.
certainly knows the life skills. You know what I mean? Critical
Yeah.
thinking life skills. Those are so important to me.
Yes.
Okay? And so I take
That's
that
yeah.
approach of like eating well, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the
Right.
mannerism, how you speak to adults, to yourself.
Right.
How do you speak? And so I teach
Eye
my boys,
contact and
yes,
like yes, and saying
yeah,
thank you, and then like also being able to like manage a situation when things go wrong, possibly or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
instilling the confidence in them. I have a saying to them. I say to my boys all the time, you're a warrior, you're a winner, you're a
Nice.
Wyatt. So we have three W's in this family.
Dang.
That's what you are. You're
What?
a warrior, you're a winner,
That's
you're a
so
Wyatt.
badass.
I tell my kids that, I tell my
That's
boys
like
that.
a that's yeah, that's a
That's a mantra.
warrior's mentality. Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah,
warrior mentality. But
for
that's like
sure.
that's what when shit hits the fan, dude. That's what's
Hmm.
gonna get them to like be like, you know what? I've got the three W's. I know I'm a
Yeah,
warrior. What was it? Warrior, winner,
I'm a
and
warrior.
Wyatt?
I'm a winner. I'm a
Yeah.
Wyatt.
That
Right
is
there.
so incredible because that's like also that is a yes, it's a mantra. It's also just like that's like a gratitude, like a that's a way of life right there,
Hmm.
dude. Oh
So that's
gosh.
what I teach them and I instill in them. And then I think we went off this tangent talking about kids and
Yeah.
I don't focus on the one, two, threes, the ABCs because to
Mm.
me, I want to build them up in a different way. And so what's interesting is when I say these things to them, I'm really big on that. And when I go in and I'm working out and I'm lifting weights, they say
Mm.
that back to me, right?
Oh,
Well, my
cool.
1-year-old can't talk, right?
Yeah.
4-year-old's like, you're the strongest mom in the world. You can get,
Oh, sweet.
come on, mom.
Affirmations,
Yeah,
just
we do hard
absolutely.
things. We do hard things in this
Uh,
family. We do hard things because I tell
Sweet.
him in this family
Yeah.
we do hard things. In this
Yeah.
family we can do hard things. And he repeats that back to me, and I'm like, dude, this is
Wow.
so cool. And he
That is
tells himself that
amazing.
when he's about
Yeah.
to do we're playing Jenga. He's really into Jenga right now, mini
Yeah.
Jenga. We're playing Jenga, and he's like, I can do this.
Oh,
I'm a
sweet.
warrior.
You
I'm a
see.
winner. Like he starts saying this to
Yeah,
himself.
yeah.
Legit
Wow.
have pictures of him, have videos of him just doing this. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, he's going in for that piece. It's a little shaky. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
he's
right, right,
wiggling it,
right.
getting sly with it. So to me,
See,
it's like
that's
those matter so much more than
dude,
the ABCs and one, two,
1000%.
three. You know?
1000%. Also, like for me, personally, I wasn't, and my parents are incredible. Like I am so grateful for the family that raised me, and my mom and dad are awesome. But I didn't learn these things when I was a kid. I think it was a different time. And that's why you mentioned like the Japanese culture and stuff like that. Like, I didn't learn those things, but like for you to instill that inside of them right now, and then because I've like the last 4 or 5 years, I've taken a big initiative of, going to therapy and like
Love it.
working on
Yeah.
myself. Yeah. And like, it's not easy. And like, I made myself do it, right? Like I went out of my way to make sure it happened. It wasn't easy. Couldn't find the right person. It's not cheap or anything. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have to really want to do it. And, but then also at the same time, it's like, I'm 39 now. And so it's like for 35 years, I was one way, right? I was this way. And then all of a sudden now I'm having to try to like, reframe, rewire my brain, right?
For sure.
It's like plastic, right? You can kind of like move it around essentially.
Hmm.
But like for you to instill that in them now is huge. That's like a Bowden, my nephew. It's like, if he starts getting upset or whatever, my sister-in-law, she's like, you know, I think she tells him, I don't know what she tells him, but essentially like count to 10. He's like, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm like, wow, I wish I had coping mechanisms like this when
For
I was his,
sure.
because then it's just going to set him up for more success in the long run, right? So
Absolutely.
very similar to what you're
Absolutely.
teaching your boys. That is incredible. Where do you think that you got that, Tippy? Like, did you and Ryan just, I know you mentioned kind of briefly, like, you and Ryan were like, okay, this is how we're gonna do this situation, or like, what was there any like type of like education that you put yourself through as far as like reading about it, or like, did you get like, how did you come to that solution that you're like, this is how we're gonna like raise our boys type deal?
Yeah. That's a really good question. It's kind of a loaded question, Andy, because
Yeah.
I think that I've been thinking about it for quite some time throughout my whole entire life. I don't think it was a
Mhm.
aha moment. It certainly wasn't
Mhm.
a book. And you know the
Yeah.
thing is with having a digital detox kind of mentality, kind of I raw dog a whole lot of things like no music, no nothing, like legit. I'm
Yeah.
on a plane, like there is no
Oh yeah,
entertainment,
you
and I'm raw dogging
you're
life,
funny, dude.
Yeah, so
Oh my God.
no,
That's
truly,
awesome. No,
truly,
ser
I
I
could
feel
sit
you.
in a
Yeah.
room in just complete silence, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to wrestle my thoughts,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
go through all this and unpack it
Right.
no matter how scary, how crazy it is. It really
Yeah.
came from like,
How
um,
chaotic it is, right? It's
yeah,
just
it
like,
came from it came from a lot of different things. That's a loaded question because it came from a childhood. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you or whatnot. I literally was born in northern Thailand in a refugee camp.
mm,
My mother, my biological mother, I was born on, of all days, leap year day, February 29th. We
mm,
were on our way to America. My mom was pregnant with me at the time. Her second child, right? She
mm.
gives birth to me. Unfortunately, my mom passed away giving birth to me.
Oh
Okay,
my
so she
gosh.
never made it. She
Wow.
never made it to America. 9 months later, we got
Wow.
on a plane. We were able to come to America, start our lives over. My dad's a single dad. We got a
Wow.
3 year old and a 1 year old me, and then we're trying to
Wow.
figure all that stuff out. And I grew up watching my dad struggle to raise
Mm,
me, struggle to instill confidence in me because he wasn't confident himself. You
mm,
imagine a single dad come to America, not $1
mm,
in your pocket, not
mm,
one word of English, and you got to figure this all out.
mm,
People are fortunate enough to be born in this country and they still
mm.
are figuring it out. You imagine a
Right.
single dad, his wife passed away, you got two
Oof.
girls, it was rough. I grew
Yeah.
up the poorest kid ever. Okay.
Really?
So my
Yeah.
drive comes from that. And I'm like, if I ever have kids, I want them to have the confidence in themselves. Like
Mm,
I didn't have that growing up. My dad didn't have that. So how could he teach me how to do that? So I worked so damn hard on myself so I could give them the best version of me.
wow.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
can be the best version of themselves. How can
Yeah.
I teach that to my boys if I don't do that to me? So I have mantras that I go through. I wish my dad was more confident in himself. I wish he did. But hey, listen, we don't get to pick the families we were born in. We don't get to pick our situation. Life happened to
Mm,
him. And unfortunately, my dad didn't have those coping skills with life,
mm-hmm.
unfortunately, and I grew up saying to myself, one of the things I wish my dad instilled in me was confidence.
Mm,
Confidence comes from thyself. So, because self-esteem, the
yeah.
word itself, self, it comes
Right.
from thyself.
Right.
So I had to build that up. And I'm like, man, I could have shaved decades out of my life, of trying to
Right.
figure it
Yeah.
out if I had that confidence. And to me,
Wow.
if I ever had kids, especially men, you know what I mean? I want to instill that in my sons because to me, like, I mean, I always say Ryan's the head of the house, I'm the heart of the house. We have
Okay.
two different
Yeah.
roles in what we do. And so with my boys, like the way I raise them, it's like I want them to believe in themselves more than
Yeah.
anybody else. If you
Right.
don't clap for yourself, why should I clap for you? You
Yeah.
know?
That's why I
Yeah,
told you
I'm
to
their
pat
mom.
yourself on the back. Yeah, but that's why I told you to pat yourself
Yeah.
because I think it's important. That's a perfect segue. It's like it's important to make sure that you do, it's important to make sure that you know your worth. I feel like, even though like I had like a lot of like early success and I was like you know on television and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I feel like, and then all of a sudden I wasn't. And so I had a hard time like
For sure.
battling that going, well, what am I now? Because I thought I was the best ever and I thought I was the
Hmm.
man. And then all of a sudden I felt like I wasn't. And it's like, you know what? I am, and you have
Hmm.
to like make sure you acknowledge yourself. That's an incredible story, Tippy. I appreciate you sharing that. That's pretty badass. And you guys grew up out in California, didn't you? Right?
Yeah, so we landed in America in the Chicago area, and then there was a lot of because although I was born in Thailand, I'm actually Laos, the country right next to Thailand. So I'm
Right.
Laotian, and there was a big
Hmm.
Laotian community in the Central Valley of California. And so a lot of people are like, "Hey, you're a single dad with two kids. Come over here." Being Southeast Asian is very communal.
Uh-huh.
Very communal.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let us help you raise your girls, and all this
Wow.
stuff. And
Okay.
so my dad remarried an absolute angel. I really lucked out with my stepmom. I don't even call her
That's
my
good.
step now, and I call her my mom. It takes a real woman to step in when you
Hmm.
have a situation like us. It takes a real
For
woman to
real
step
though,
in,
that's badass. Yeah,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
there was that's such a tough situation. She had a daughter of her own, and so when she stepped in, she's like, "Man, these girls are gonna need a mom.
Hmm.
These girls are gonna need a
Oh
mom." She
man.
stepped
See.
in, and
Yeah.
she married my dad because of us, really, because she's like,
Oh.
"My girl needs a dad.
Wow. She just
Your girls need a
really,
mom." Oh my
wow,
gosh.
she really took the reins right there, didn't she?
They,
That's pretty
yeah.
badass right
So we have a
there.
Brady Bunch family. We have a Brady
Oh,
Bunch. So they
yeah.
had three kids of their own. We have a total of
Uh-huh.
six kids, and truly everybody has so many different personalities. You imagine six kids, it was chaotic. So we grew up so poor. Like when I say that we grew up so poor, we
Like
grew up
how
in like a
poor?
poor,
How poor? Give
like
me
I had a, I couldn't even use a full the paper
Yeah.
towels that you tear off and you wipe with your hands.
Yeah.
I could not use a whole entire one to myself. I had to rip it up so
Oh
that way we
yeah.
cove pass it on to everybody. We slept,
I've
my
actually
camera,
been that poor,
yeah,
but to
yeah,
be honest, I've
yeah.
actually done that myself. But
What was
yeah,
it
no,
called?
yeah, I've done that same thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, we're gonna make a quarter out of this like half
yeah.
slice of paper towel. Yeah. Dang,
One
dude.
bed, one bed for a family of six,
No
400 square
way.
feet studio
Stop.
apartment.
Now
I
that was
swear
that
to you, I swear to you,
that's
grew up
how
in the
poor.
projects. So no,
Damn, for real? That's
I didn't
crazy.
want to do that. I didn't want to do that in my life. I saw my parents struggle
Yeah.
financially my whole entire life. And I
Hmm.
said, you know what? I'm going to be a business owner. I didn't even know what that was as a kid. And so I just started
Oh,
doing lemonade stands as a kid. I
oh,
started making
cool.
signs because I was really good with art. And so I just started
Yeah.
making garage signs, started stealing my sister's clothes to sell it. Very early
Oh,
on. You piss me
nice.
off one day, I'm going to take your overalls. I'm going to sell your overalls.
Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur, I joke about stealing my sister's clothes, but that's a true story. You know what I mean?
It's the
I was
hustler
like,
mentality right there,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
no, but it was just like I know I want to fundraise, I want to get this, I want that. So that entrepreneurship mentality was very ingrained in me for a very early age. And I was like, man, the American dream, I'm here in America. If I could make it like from living in a straw hut and
Yeah.
on the ground and whatnot,
Hmm.
this is a beautiful country. The American dream is real. I'm living it. I had
Yeah.
nothing, literally nothing. And so when I say that I have that chip on my shoulder of like, man,
Hmm.
someone really truly, my biological mom gave up her life for me. I gotta be
Wow.
somebody. How could I
Damn.
not be somebody?
Seriously.
How could I
That'll
not give a shit? How
yeah.
can I not go for it? Like,
Yep.
truly, how could I not? And so to me, I had nothing to lose. I was already the lowest of lows. I had
Mhm.
nothing to lose. So that's why when I'm like, I go for it. And I had to build my confidence to doing things that I was afraid of doing,
Yeah.
along the
Oh,
way.
probably, especially because like growing up in that type of environment, God, you're built different, dude. Because I mean, you
For
have to
sure,
like,
for
yeah,
sure.
you have to like literally like completely change your entire like mentality and be like, you know what? I am not going to, because that's why they always say like, if like, I don't know why this came to my head, but like, say if somebody's like say if it's a wife beater, okay, the guy or somebody abuses their children, the father abuses the children, then he abuses his children, then he abuses his wife, and then the cycle goes on. And you were like, hell no, I'm not gonna let that cycle go. I'm gonna go do exactly what the hell I want, and I'm not gonna let my kids, when I have them one day, fall into that cycle. I'm not going to let them have to share paper towels. Like they're gonna like, you know what I mean? I know that's ridiculous, but you know what I mean, though? That's
Yeah, yeah.
freaking badass,
They
dude.
have
That
their
is
own bed. I didn't have my own bed until I was an
right.
adult. You know what I
You were
mean?
sharing a bed with five other people. Like that's insane. And now you're like, boom. Now, like,
I
wow.
have legit pictures of us kids sharing that bed. Legit, legit. And I look back on it, and that's the thing. We never knew how poor we were until we grew up. Because you get sized up, when
Oh
you
yeah.
go through life, and you're just happy on the bed,
Yeah,
holding each other,
sure.
laughing, wrestling, whatever you do.
See,
But
that's
we didn't
cool
know
too,
those.
though. Right.
Yeah,
But
and
do
that's
you
why we're
think,
so close. Us
right?
six kids
Yeah.
are so
Well,
close.
that's what I was gonna ask, Tippy, is like, I mean, are you so grateful for the way everything worked out? You have to be, I mean, I would think, I don't know, like,
Growing up, I hated it. I hated it. I hated
sure.
being so poor. I hated
Yeah.
my parents not speaking English. I hated it. That's
You
true
probably
transparency to
did
you.
you get bullied too? Maybe, possibly, or yeah.
For sure. And then also
Yeah.
too, think about like what that kind of does to a kid. You
Oh,
just want to
yeah.
fit in as a kid, and you're not even there. The
Right.
mail would come in. I would have to read the mail as a kid, and then I
Oh,
had to translate what that mail said.
oh,
Oh, this
yeah.
is our PG&E electricity bill. This is this,
Right.
this is that. And then when I go to teachers' conferences, I'm translating everything all the way through
Hmm.
grocery stores, doctors' offices, taking the reins. I didn't have a time to be a kid per se growing up. I had to grow
Yeah.
up really quick. You talk about
Yeah.
being built differently. I had to grow up so quick. I
Wow.
grew up in the hood. I grew up in the projects. You see things that you don't experience. My kids will
Hmm.
never have to learn the skills that I had to learn to survive.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
had to survive to get in before even thriving. So I am
Yeah.
built different in that sense. But I said, hey, I have this opportunity to be in America and to make a name for myself. Like
Yeah.
I look at, a lot of people can be a victim of a lot of things. Trust me, I could too.
Hmm. Right.
But at the end of the day, I I chose, I'm going to choose my hard. And being an
Hmm.
entrepreneur is hard AF. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It is not
Yeah.
easy. It is
Yeah.
not easy. But it's the most rewarding thing ever, right? And I get
Yes.
to make
Right.
a difference in people's lives. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And not a little kind of sidestep. I know we're just having a fun conversation. I love talking to you. And I got off of a meeting. We have Friday meetings, and one of our
Yeah.
employees, you know, in our company, Titan Wizards, he's very incredible guy, but he wasn't getting paid well. And today he got on our meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, look at your haircut. Your haircut was awesome. He says, I could finally go to the barber I want to go to
Oh,
because of
cool.
this job, you
Right.
know,
That's
because now he's getting
awesome.
paid well, you
Yep.
know? And to
Yep.
me, oh my gosh, the confidence that he
That's
had in the meeting, I was like,
uh
your fade looks so good. He's like, oh, I could
yeah.
finally go to that. I
Uh
could finally go to that barber. Hey,
yeah.
Tippy, can I take a new headshot when we see each other next? I'm like, hell
Oh,
yeah, let's take a new
cool.
headshot. So
Yeah,
to me,
dude.
that small little thing that what I'm
Yep.
doing is helping them provide for their family. This is how they pay their bills. This is how they put
Yep.
food on the table for their
Yep.
family, themselves, how they cut their
Also,
hair,
yeah,
all those things.
also that little haircuts do a wonder. And I'll talk to a barber sometimes when I walk out. They're like, man, it's so cool to see people walk out of here and like it's like it changes their entire mentality. It changes my mentality. And that's another thing though, is like, that guy, because he got that haircut, he's he's gonna sell better for you. He's gonna pitch everything, but he's going to show up even earlier next week, hopefully, right? Like he's going to grind even harder because now he has that. Now he can go get, maybe he gets a steak tonight, for the weekend or whatever it is, like because of the opportunity that was given. So that's pretty special, right?
Yeah.
I want to
It is
ask you,
fulfilling. It's fulfilling for me to do that. And that's what entrepreneurship does for me on the other side of it,
yes,
right?
okay, absolutely. That's what I was going to say is like, I share that same sentiment with you
Hmm.
because Um, sometimes, it can be very difficult, like being an entrepreneur because I don't know, sometimes you swing and miss. Sometimes it's kind of like it's a roller coaster. Sometimes it just doesn't work out exactly how you thought. Maybe you were doing something that you like really wanted to do and enjoyed and loved, but it didn't like actually come to fruition. And but at the end of the day though, dude, right? Is it not? It's fulfilling. And you're like doing what you love and you're expressing like your inner like creative being. And then it kind of like and that's what makes it all like that's why I started this. Like I had been told by a lot of people like, hey, do a podcast, you should do a podcast. I was like, oh, it's too late. Like, first of all, it's never too late, number one, right?
That's right.
Right. But also like, as a sportscaster and a storyteller for so many years, now I get to like let you tell these incredible stories. So it's like I'm just like, you know what I mean? And it's like so fulfilling. Like today. This is my third podcast and I'm just gonna and all I can wait to do is like I'm like over here jotting down notes about like the timeline and stuff because I can't wait to edit it and cut it up and like get it out there so other people can see it and hear your story. I don't know. You can relate to that, I think, right? I mean, like it's pretty badass, but I want to ask you though. So, okay, how did you get to Austin? What was that? Yeah.
Geez, how did I
Did
get
you
to
go to
Austin?
college or did you just how did you get to Austin?
Okay, so I graduated in California, Fresno State, and
Yeah, you did go to Fresno State, a
I
bulldog,
did
you
go
little
to Fresno.
bull.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
well, isn't that
Fres-
perfect, right? Look, talking about your entire childhood, and it's like, yes, she's a bulldog, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
tough
Bulldogs
cookie.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
so how did I end up in Austin? Okay, so I actually was dating a guy, and one of the, before Ryan, he was like, hey, if I could move anywhere, these are my top three. And Austin happened to be number one or number two. I can't remember exactly. And at that time, I was like, okay, what's Austin, Texas about? Let me look it up. You know what I mean? About to graduate college, about to figure this out. And so I wanted to go to LA or New York. Thank goodness I didn't for several reasons. But Austin,
Yeah,
came across and was like up and coming city, fastest growing metro, all the stats, tech
sure.
company, California companies moving
Right.
to go and basically start a campus there, la di da, a lot of opportunities,
Hmm.
right? So I was like,
Right.
okay, all right. And so on spring break, and then I dated Ryan, and then he had a year left of college, and he's like, hey, I know you want to go and fly and do your thing, but if you stay here, I promise you, I'll go anywhere you want to go. I'll
Oh.
move anywhere with you.
Yeah,
I was
see,
like,
you guys were so in love from the jump. Was it from the beginning that you guys were so head over heels for one of the other?
no, we,
No?
no, I don't say no like that. No, because he
No,
had
I
a
know.
girlfriend, I had a boyfriend. It was
Oh
just
yeah.
that, we met,
Okay.
and I actually recruited him to be part of our organization because we met in
Uh-huh.
business school. We met
Okay.
in our co-ed business fraternity. It's still called a fraternity, but it's co-ed now. So if you're majoring in business, you got a GPA of, I think it's like 2.8 or something, you could join this organization. You got to pledge for it, right? And I was heavily involved in our organization. I was at the recruitment table, and I was like, oh, heck no, this guy is signing up for a competition. We're gonna have that on Tippy's time here, because I'm at the recruitment table. So he walks by. I said, hey, saw that you were interested, and I recruited him. That's kind of how we met. He had a girlfriend, I
Yeah.
had a boyfriend. It wasn't anything like love at first sight. I didn't even
Uh,
really look at Ryan like that until one of my best girlfriends was like, hey, that Ryan is cute. Look at him. And I was like, Ryan
oh.
who? It wasn't even a thing to me, you
Yeah.
know? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Ryan. Okay, Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, he is a little cutie, isn't he? And it was
Uh,
kind of one of those things. And then I was president of the organization. He was the chancellor. We had to work hand in hand. He had broken up with his girlfriend. And, he's going to be embarrassed if I tell this story, but he was drunk at a party and I was a waitress. He was drunk at a college party. I didn't go to a college party because I worked at like the most popular sushi restaurant. I was the closer.
oh.
So I always got off
Wow.
at like 1 a.m.
All right.
And when I got off, everybody was just completely drunk already. Playing catch
Uh-huh.
up wasn't it for me.
All
So
right.
somebody promised me at that college party a luau pig, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna save a Hawaiian pig for you. Come through, Tippy, come through. I said, dude, I get off at like 1 a.m. Come through. So I go, and Ryan's drunk, and he corners me, and he starts confessing. Literally,
Uh,
this is our friends are like listening in the kitchen, and they say the exact words. Ryan confessed his undying love to Tippy.
That's
So he
awesome. Hell
so he
yeah.
just
That a
so he
boy.
just started with, "Hey, listen, I think you're so smart. I
Aw,
totally respect you.
yeah.
And I don't know where this is gonna go, but I really think the world of you. I think you're super smart.
Uh,
And I'm like, hey, you're drunk. Like, let me just eat my plate here, and whatnot. Which that plate was eaten before I even got there because apparently they were too drunk to, keep it from me. They're like, hey, Tippy, sorry we ate your pig, but hey, now that you're here, sit down and talk. And so Ryan confessed to me he had a crush on me, basically, and I was
Aw,
like,
yeah.
all right, okay, that's cute. You're drunk. Let's just, let you be drunk. Let me like figure out food situation. It wasn't anything crazy like that,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
was kind of seeing somebody, and so I was like, that's nice, Ryan. You're drunk. We'll talk after the summer. It's okay. You're my chancellor. We'll figure it out. And
Aw,
then after the summer,
yeah.
he cornered me again. And
Uh-huh.
and then he, walked
See,
in my
that
car.
is
He
a
said,
man who knows what he wants.
"Oh,
He was
he was,
adamant. He was
yeah."
consistent. He was not gonna let go, right?
I was about to get in my car. He closes the car. He says, that one night, I meant every word I said, and I still do.
Oh,
And I
damn.
was like, hey, listen, we have a working relationship here. I'm the president of this organization. You're my chancellor. Let's like, I don't want to dip my pen in company's ink. I told him those
Right.
exact words. I said, I don't want to dip my pen in company's ink. He's like, but I really like you. And I was like, okay, listen, let's just have a working relationship and we'll see how this things go. And then honestly, we started talking on campus until the sun came up. Like
Wow.
literally the sun came up and he was like, "Can I
Yeah.
hold your hand?" I was like, "Nope, you can't hold my hand." He's
Uh,
like, "Gosh, you're playing hard to get." I was like, "I'm not. I
yeah.
just like having a conversation without any of all that stuff because to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
like, you know, to me, I just wanted to know him for him and truly nothing else.
Yeah.
There's no physical,
Yeah.
there's any of those things. And he was
Right.
just like, I can't read you. And then we would be like, okay, it's 7 a.m. The sun's come out. We got to go home, take a
Hmm.
shower, go to our internships. And that's
Yeah.
how our relationship started. It was just watching the sunrise. It sounds so
That's
cheesy,
dope.
right?
No, but that's dope
Watching
though.
sunrise, talking
Honestly,
about
that's
business. Here
yeah,
we are,
but
still doing that. We're still
wow,
doing that 15
seriously,
years later.
I know. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna get off this podcast and you're gonna go talk to him about business and how the day went and everything. Which leads me to I do want to talk about oh gosh, we could talk forever. This is awesome.
Um,
I'm so grateful for your time. I do want to talk about a couple of things though.
Geez, we're hopping
Um,
all over the place, Andy. I'm
I
sorry.
know,
Hopefully
but
you can get
no,
something out of this.
dude, I've gotten a lot out of this. This is awesome. No, and that's what this, is all about. I do want to talk about the business. So I don't know, do you have a heart out or can we go for another like 15?
Yeah, no, no, I don't have a hard out per se right
Heck
now,
yeah.
but everybody knows I'm gonna be on
I
this.
want to talk
Yeah.
about this though because it is really cool that and I want to share my two favorite recipes if I can.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Let's
so
hear
is
it.
this still on Amazon? Can you still get this?
Yeah, it's still on Amazon. It's still going.
The Asian
It's
cookbook, keto and low carb. And
yeah.
is this your half sister
That's
or
my older sister.
your
That's
older?
my
So
that's my 100% real sister. She's
this
my
was
only,
from
yeah.
your mom before she
Yes.
passed. Okay,
Yes.
cool. How much older is she than you? You guys are
3 years
gorgeous,
older.
by the way. Look at
Oh,
that.
you're so sweet.
You guys are so pretty. Yeah, she's so cute. Oh my
She is the
gosh.
cutest little thing.
She really is though. Is she married and stuff or what?
Yeah, she is married.
No,
She's got two
I'm not
girls.
saying like that. No, hey, don't. But this one, and it's interesting that you brought everything up about your family and your father and stuff. But the egg soup,
Whew, that's my dad's recipe right
I
there.
know that's what, and I
That's mine.
know that because I read this. Well, I made this. I've made it like 3 or 4 times, and but then I looked at it because I have them. There's a few of them dog tagged, and I was like, and then you mentioned that your father and stuff raised you guys, and I'm like, holy cow! Well, that was her dad's recipe because apparently he wasn't the cook of the family. He wasn't like totally. Was he the
No, my
chef?
mom.
No. Yeah.
He's really skilled at cooking. He doesn't cook often because she
Right.
takes over the kitchen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. And then the other one, this is honestly like pretty simple, but it's just so fresh and delicious is the chopped chicken Asian salad. I know that it's like, yeah, I mean, and I've made like a variation of this, kind of, but like, it's just something about like, okay, something about cabbage, green onion, and then you get like some carrots and apple cider. I love the dressing because that's a dressing that I actually use on like when I marinate pork chops. Is just like kind of like apple cider vinegar and some olive oil or whatever, a little salt and pepper, maybe paprika. I don't know, but it's just an easy like apple cider vinegar is so underutilized. But this is an incredible cookbook. I love it. And
Oh, you're so
it's
sweet.
no, dude, and it stays right there on my kitchen counter. These are really good too. The pork belly recipe is really good. Um, I haven't tried the mussels poke
Oh, the
bowl.
muscle's
This is
good. I think
like,
you're like that.
yeah, I bet I would. And like, oh, the salmon, is it mock? Salmon mock?
Mop.
Moke? Moke? Is
There you
that how
go.
it's
There you go.
pronounced? Moke?
MOK. Mop.
Yeah, do you speak Vietnamese or
Laotian.
Laotian? So it's
I
different
speak.
than Vietnamese.
Oh, very, very different.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And they're right next
Yeah.
to each other, aren't they? Or no?
So Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Four different languages, four different dialect completely.
Wow.
But I'm conversational in Thai and I speak Laotian fluently. So I guess I'm trilingual,
It's kind
you
of like
know?
when I went to Spain, because Portuguese is so different.
Yes.
It's spoken in Brazil, but like if you go to Spain, they don't speak Portuguese, but when you go over to Portugal, which is right next door, they're like they speak Spanish and Portuguese, and like the Spanish give and this is why I'm going here because I'd be curious if it's the same down there with all the countries right next to each other. But like when you go to Spain, they don't speak Portuguese, and you go to Portugal, and they're like they speak Spanish and Portuguese, and the Spanish kind of like hate on the Portuguese. They're like, they're not worthy. They're kind of like, they're kind of they're the dirt bags, right? But if you go to Portugal, they're like, we speak Spanish and Portuguese, and they don't know what they're talking about. So they kind of like it's like this like little brotherhood. I don't know if that's how it is in Vietnam and Laos and all that. But I want to get down there. Man, when's the last time have you guys visited recently or ever or like with Ryan and stuff?
2019.
20. Okay, so like right before COVID or
Yeah,
something.
right before COVID hit. Yeah, yeah.
It's
That was
it's
the last time
like
I was
it's
in Southeast
gorgeous,
Asia.
right? Like I heard
Oh,
Vietnam is just like unbelievable.
I haven't been over to Vietnam myself, but that is a trip we'd like to do with our boys, a Southeast
Yeah,
Asian trip, kind of trekking to those
yeah,
four countries, and that's something
yes,
we talk about. And so I like traveling. I love
I
traveling,
do
and actually I
too.
don't like traveling. I love traveling. I've traveled
Yeah,
all around, so it's
yeah,
been
you
one of
have.
those things that has been really educational for me. And now, I get to do it with my family, my boys, and we
Well,
learn
so
a whole lot of.
you will be able to do that because you guys, I mean, now they're getting to the age almost, okay, so if we're 4 and 1, so like maybe when little man gets to be like 3 or 4, and then the other ones
Yeah,
like at like 7 or 8 or whatever, that's when
yeah.
you can kind of go on those like international trips. And then especially like, but you guys have your hands full right now, Tippy. Like you started this company. Again, it's what is it? Wizards? What is it? Titan
Titan
Wizards.
Wizards.
I know it's
Hmm.
great branding. And I was just kind of digging into it this morning before I like started my work day, and I was like, what exactly do they do? And so I'm trying to figure out. I want to know a little bit more about it if you can. And I know you've got your elevator pitch and stuff, but like I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, residential, commercial, HVAC, plumbing. Are you guys like a sub? And you just like kind of knock out everything maintenance wise, or like what is it?
Yeah. Okay. So it's niche consulting. Okay. So
Okay.
we're in the tech space. We're in the tech space in the trades. That's what it is. Okay. So we are niche consultants for a software called Service Titan. Service Titan is like the CRM of the trades. I know you're
Oh, that's
familiar with
right.
Procore, but this is not construction. This is the trade. So we're talking about, like you said, HVAC,
Uh,
plumbing, roofing, pest
uh,
control, anything that could send a technician to your home. So we support the people that have really the backbone of America, right? Like, the
mm,
people that keep the lights on, the people
yeah,
that keep, you comfortable in that beautiful little apartment there, right? You know
yeah,
what I mean? The
right.
the heating and all those things. And so the software itself is what we consult on. So if you're an HVAC company, You're Andy HVAC. You come to me and you're like, hey, we are on service time, but we're struggling to really get a a good return on this. It's an expensive
Hmm.
software. And we come in and we basically are like, hey, let's dial in your service time because there's
Oh yeah.
money in your couch cushions right now. So it's a software. It's like the Salesforce of the trades.
That's what
That's
I
my
was.
analogy to
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was thinking too. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right on.
So
Wow,
we sell to
really?
companies. I get to geek out because I love talking to execs. I love talking to businesses. I get to
Yeah.
geek out about this stuff. In other industries that I've been, I don't geek out as much because it's, kind of go, well, more surface level.
Yeah.
But because we are consulting with like high level, and I do a whole lot. We are a startup, self-funded. Ryan and I, we're a team of five now, and we just started.
Nice.
So we just started scaling, and let me tell you, we hire people that know it way better than us.
Oh,
As an
cool.
owner,
That's smart. Yeah.
it's a smart move. It's a
Yeah.
blessing to have access to people that are
Yes.
smarter than you. It's not a threat, let me tell you.
You're
Okay,
right.
so another strategy we do, and we truly, truly like are like the white glove boutique service to it. So we have a
The
very
Ritz
premium
Carlton. Ritz Carlton. That's what they used to tell
Ritz-Carlton
us at
experience.
Procore. Yeah, they used to say. And I saw
Hmm.
that in your like description was the white glove, and I immediately thought of Procore because you used to say that like we were the Ritz Carlton experience. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've had several companies kind of in tandem, and I
Hmm.
decided to jump to come on here and run this full time because this thing was going. Psh. And Ryan and I have had this idea. Entrepreneurs don't have a lack of idea. It's
Right.
which one do you run
Oh,
with?
right.
Which
Yeah,
one do you
for
execute?
sure,
And
dude. Yeah.
and which one's making the most money right now? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What seat am I going to jump in? What am I going to do? You right?
Right.
And so I decided to come on board and run this full time, right? And being like, okay, I'm getting out of the e-commerce space. I'm getting out the product space. I'm from B2C to B2B now. I
Hmm.
didn't realize how much I'm going to love B2B, but I love it because your
It's
tickets are
fun.
higher. You're
Yeah.
selling to businesses. You're
Right.
selling to multi-million dollar businesses. And we also work with private
Right.
equity firms. They're in the, easily nine-figure plus, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so to us, it's exciting because I'm talking to business owners that geek out about their operations, about their
Hmm.
strategy, about that stuff that is
Yeah.
unrelatable. Like I'm so unrelatable in that sense, and I didn't have anybody to do that. So when I get to be in this, I'm like I love creative. I love building the brand. You go to the website. The
Yeah.
website, in my opinion, looks dope, right?
I think it looks
It's
awesome. Yeah, it's that's what I said. That was the first thing I said, didn't I? I was like the branding and marketing
yes.
looks incredible. Yeah.
Titan Wizards, what do we do? And it's like we have this truck that's completely branded, and people follow us to Home Depot and is like, dude, we're
Yeah.
on service time. We need service time help. Can you help us out? And
Wow.
we've actually gotten business from it. It's paid for itself. So the
Wow.
branding, it's like I don't know what you guys do, but I remember the name. So I'm trying to live rent
Mm,
free in your mind. That's what branding's
yeah,
about.
for sure.
Having had exit a company before and built it from the ground up, the buyer said they wanted to buy it because of the branding of it,
Yeah. Right.
Iconolashes was the company, and so they bought the branding of it. They're like, we love the branding. And to me, I
Yep.
love building brands. I love it. I'm a brand girl all the way. I geek out about that stuff. My team's always like, man, Tippy's branded through and through. I got literally yellow shoes on here, right down here. And
Nice.
my
Yeah.
whole thing is like the eyes feast first. It doesn't matter. The eyes feast first, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
like the
Yes.
plating. You
It's
plating. How does
yeah,
it
the
plate? The
eyes
eyes
eat first.
feast first.
Yes,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
eyes, they
Yeah.
feast first. And so to me, it's like you may not know what Titan Wizards does, but how many times I've been in the
Hmm.
airport, Andy, I could tell you they have literally, I have too many stories. I looked you up. I read your bio. I read who you are.
Wow.
I'm like,
Really?
really?
Yeah.
You're Tippy. I had met at a restaurant. This happened. I'm potentially going to bring on somebody in the exec team. And so we go to Papa Do's, and a lady across from me, she's like, Tippy Wyatt, Ryan Wyatt. I'm like,
Huh.
I've never met her.
Wow.
I'm good with people. I'm good with names. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, ma'am. Please forgive me. Where did we meet? And she's like, we didn't meet. I just looked you
Oh,
up because I saw
nice. Oh,
I
that's
saw
tight.
your
Yeah.
backpack, I saw your
Yeah.
backpack. I saw your logo. I saw this and
Yeah.
I saw your truck and stuff like that. I'm at
Yep.
the airport. Someone behind me, literally, he's like, "Hey, I read your whole entire company's bio." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "I know
Wow.
exactly what time." I'm like, "Wow." So it's like it's literally I get this approach every single time. We're bright yellow, black and
Yep.
yellow, that's our
Yeah.
song,
Yeah. Yep.
And so
Yeah.
people it's I love building brands. I love it. I geek out about it. And so people may not know what we do, but they look us up on our website, titanwizards.com. They find out a little bit
Huh.
more about us. And to
Yeah.
me, it's about living rent free in their mind. And that's the most important thing. If you're thinking about me, I'm doing something
Well,
right.
then it also like, and then yes, well said. And then beyond that, it also, you guys just make people's lives easier, right? I mean, it's just like a kind of like a transactional deal where, how does it work? So if I'm a HVAC guy, what, do I reach out to you guys? Like, how does it work? Like the ins and outs, I
Okay.
guess.
So, you know what's interesting about what we do? It's a need. It's not even a want. It's not a nice to have. It's a
It's a
must have.
need. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have not spent $1 on marketing and our books were like full. We had to turn
Damn.
down business. We had to hire, and we don't hire just anybody. You are going through a group, like you're a true expert. Like we're talking about level 10. You know
Right.
more than the owners about this. You will not have a seat on the Titan Wizards team if you do not operate on excellence. That is
Yeah.
the team that we're trying to build. The Navy SEALs of
Uh,
Service Titan consultants. That's what we're trying to
I
build here.
like
If you,
that. That's pretty
yeah,
tough. Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
it's pretty
Yeah.
tough. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And then when you get in, you're like, man, I honestly strive to be like one of the best bosses for people. So when if you're a company, you're operating on service side, it's your
Mhm.
CRM.
Right.
Literally, from the moment somebody picks up the phone calls to the how you run, all of it, it's through and through. It is a
Wow, that's
robust software.
legit though. What? Okay, now
Yeah,
I'm getting it. It just clicked.
yeah,
Now I get it. Wow.
yeah.
So it's just like everything is right there at your hands, and if you need anything, essentially, it's just like boom, you can just. And then what? Do you have like a list of people, just like their CRM? Like, is there like a list or like, how does that work? I don't know. I'm just trying to
So
visualize it, I guess, like and trying to like Salesforce it. So it's just all right there though, like essentially like you just go to it and then it's like boom, I can just find an HVAC person or what or like or I
So
don't
you're
know.
already on it. Okay, so if you are an HVAC company, you're an owner. Let
Yeah.
me walk you through this. You're an
Okay.
owner of an HVAC and plumbing company because they're usually hand in hand, an
Right.
HVAC company, and
Right.
you're operating on Service Titan, and that's your software that you run your company on. And you
Uh,
say, I'm struggling on it, I'm not doing well. Because here's the thing, Service Titan is it's like the creme de la creme software. There's other competitors, but when you go on Service Titan, it's like they give you a Ferrari, but it's in a box, Andy. And they're saying, Andy, AC, HVAC, build this. But Andy, you yourself, you're a business owner. You have many hats on. You're not a tech guy, maybe. You're not
mhm.
adept with software. Maybe you're not operational. All those things. You don't know how to build a Ferrari, but you like the Ferrari. You want to go fast in it,
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
go real fast in it. But not a lot of people know how to build a Ferrari.
Uh,
So people buy service time and think they're going to get a Ferrari, but really they get a box of
uh,
Ferrari parts. So we come in as the third party, as the white gloves consultants,
uh,
okay? And we
okay.
go in there and we help them onboard and we build it out to all
Nice.
your custom, all the way through
Oh,
custom,
okay.
okay?
Shit.
And we
Okay.
teach your staff on it. Do they have people to do that for them? Yes, but people don't like their support. One CSM, you've got a million accounts. So we offer a really personal approach to it. And
Hmm.
or business strategists, and we recruit people that have worked in an HVAC shop, a plumbing shop, and they know service time. So you're really getting unicorns,
Mm,
You're not just getting
okay.
a tech guy that's on support and you're going to send you an
Oh,
article and a
right.
video to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at,
yeah,
No, no, no,
yeah,
no, no. It's not that. You're getting high level people that know how to speak the tech language and the
yeah.
trade
It's the
language.
white,
And
it goes back
yep,
to the white glove, hands-on
uh-huh.
experience.
And it's a
You know,
need, it's not a want, which is I love
right.
being in this space because
Yeah.
guess what? We're always going to need HVAC. We're always going to need plumbing. We're always going to
Yep.
need electrical. It's
Yep.
not trendy.
Right.
I've been in trendy businesses and you got to know
Yeah.
when to get in and you
Right.
certainly know what need to get out. I don't need
Yeah.
to get out of this.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Right.
service Titan's going to be around. As long as there's homes with HVAC, with heating, you need running water, you need your toilets flush. It's an essential need.
Oh,
Essential.
dang.
2020,
Yeah.
you lived through essential. And that's when the
Yeah.
trades really emerged. After
Uh,
2020, people are like, there's businesses that are non-essential, and there are businesses that are truly
oh, da
essential.
dang. That's true. Wow. That's a good point too. Also, being in DFW is a great market for that as well. That's why it was like the perfect fit for you guys to move from Austin and start this company and be in Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, Dallas Fort Worth is buzzing. I think I saw, and even I think somebody earlier today on one of my calls, he mentioned that Fort Worth is now the fastest growing city in America, and it, took over Austin. So an
Why
incredible
is
place.
that? Why is where
What?
I move becomes that? I don't like it, you know?
You,
I want to be like, I want it to
no,
be,
you like it.
yeah.
Well, I guess it's you, honestly. You should just run for governor, honestly.
No, I always joke. I'm like, I didn't want to tell anybody I was in Austin and then it blew up, right? And then I'm
Yeah.
like, people are like, where are you at now? And I'm like, don't move here. Don't move here.
Don't even come to
Don't
my
move here. Don't
stockyards.
move here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Hey,
Yeah.
if you guys ever need some help getting into Joe T's, no wait in line. Just let your boy know. That's my hood, okay? And that's my family.
Oh,
So, but yeah, thank you, Tippy. I appreciate you so much. You're an incredible human. Like you always have been. I met you the first time I met you. I don't know if you'll remember. I remember,
I
but
remember.
it was at a Procore party, but it was at the building, right?
That's right.
On West Sixth Street, and we
That's
were in the
right.
kitchen area. That's when I met you. You
That's right.
remember that? Cool.
I
All
remember that,
right.
the
So I
Chase
was
building. You better
memorable.
believe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
well, you were very memorable, and I was just like, oh yeah, because I was like, Thomas and I used to work out with Ryan. The three of us would go down there to the gym. You remember that? And
I do remember that.
yeah, around 6, 7 o'clock at night when we got off, we would
Yeah.
go down there. Yeah, that's where I kind of built a bond with Ryan, and
Yeah.
I would always walk over to his desk, and just check on him and say hey, and that's kind of how we built a good friendship. And I think he played on the softball team a little bit with us too. Yeah, and that was fun. But anyway, I think the world of both of you. Tell Ryan I love him, and I'm sending all my best, and I appreciate your time. And I'll get this on YouTube. Tell people where we can find not only yourself if needed, but definitely Titan Wizards. How do we figure out about that, and how do we find you guys?
So I'm hanging out on LinkedIn these days. That's where I'm at,
Nice. I
I'm
heard,
on
oh, my
LinkedIn with
girlfriend, did I tell you my girlfriend, she said she was at this conference and apparently there's more users, like more daily users on LinkedIn right now than there
hmm,
are on TikTok because TikTok it's a lot of like bots and like not real people and stuff. The like actual stuff that you get on LinkedIn are like actual real humans who like work daily jobs and are like active and stuff, not just like a bunch of like videos and BS. I don't know. I found that kind of interesting. I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. But I guess she was like, just keep posting because I've been posting the podcasts. So I'll tag you guys in a couple of the clips.
yeah.
Because I like to, what I do is I'll take this, I'll put it on YouTube and Spotify, and then I'll send those to you, obviously. And then I'll do some snippets, and then I'll just tag you on LinkedIn. I guess I'll tag Ryan too, I guess. Yeah. Show him
No,
some
I'm
love too. But yeah, Titan Wizards, how do we find you guys?
Yeah, so we usually hang out on LinkedIn. That's kind of where our customers are,
Hmm.
our businesses and people that are like you're filtering in through the BS, you know what I mean?
Right.
The Instagram, TikToks. I think that's more of a social kind of platform. We right now we're in the head down scaling and building. We have a lot of exciting things that we're rolling out, things that we're building, integrations and
Cool.
whatnot that would be more of a kind of a SaaS kind of product
Yeah.
in addition
Cool.
to our professional services. So we're really heads down right now, and there's not a
Hmm.
lot of places that people can find us per se, unless it's like on LinkedIn. And I'm not as active on I'm barely on social media. I
Yeah.
apologize. If I'm on there, I'm cheering for you. You're my
All I
boy.
know
I'm
is
cheering for
I
you.
know
But
you are. I know you are.
yeah.
You're a sweetheart. But I do remember one time on on there, you and Ryan, you made him, poor guy. You ate, you drank the raw eggs.
Oh
You
my
remember?
gosh, yeah,
I
I
was
did.
like, I cannot believe that they just did that. I mean, how did that go down, by the way? Was that,
I had nine raw eggs, and he
I
was like,
can't, you're a
"You're."
savage.
He told me, no. So he
Yeah.
always jokes I have an iron stomach, and I do. He's like, "You
Oh,
remember that
yeah.
show Fear Factor? If there was a
Oh,
Fear
dude, you
Factor,
could
I'd
have
be
been,
so
you would
fucking
crush
cast
it.
it.
Yeah, you
I would
would
have
crush
crushed it.
it.
Give me that scorpion right now. Come on,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
Yeah, I have, being Southeast Asian, I've been eating nose to tail forever. That
Oh,
stuff
right.
does
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
scare me. Don't
Right.
even come with me with that. Like I'm gonna be grossed out. There's just nothing that grosses me out in that aspect. But so with Ryan, he has a texture thing. It's a texture thing for him. Being
Yeah,
Southeast Asian, I've been eating intestines, tripe, whatever. It doesn't bother
right.
me. Cartilage doesn't bother me. Slime doesn't bother me. Texture,
Yeah.
what is that? So to him, he gets behind like, oh my gosh. And so for us, it's just the kind of the mind over matter. And there's some things that he's an
What do
absolute
you
G at, that I'm not.
I'm gonna before I let you go, Tippy, and thanks for hanging tight. I just have one more question because you guys and I didn't even get into this, and that's what I'm saying. So we'll have to like link up another time. But
Yeah.
you guys are so great about your fitness. I know you guys have your own gym. I believe in your garage. Do you not?
hmm
I remember you guys building that out. It's gorgeous. You guys stay after it. You stay active. You keep the kids active. All those things. Um, how do you cook for your family and your kids? You guys split duties? I think Ryan does some grilling and stuff like that. Do you have like a set menu that you do at the beginning of the week and you go, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store on Sunday or whatever it is. How do you manage that? I would be curious to know.
Yeah, so Ryan does a whole lot of the proteins, the meat, the grills. If we're gonna, we grill a whole lot. We're heavy eaters over here. Being from
Hmm.
Texas, we're very spoiled with that. But no,
Yeah.
we split up the duties. Honestly, it's he loves to cook and so do I. So we're really fortunate in the fact that we both really enjoy
You
doing it,
both
you
get, and
know?
that's fun too. That's also
Yeah.
great for the relationship as well. Like getting in there and kind of like, okay, you can do this, I'll do that. Hey, do you need any help here? How can I help you prep?
hmm
I always found that that was great in a relationship to be able to like kind of like split those duties
Yeah.
and share that with one another. I bet do the kids get in there too and kind of like, are they in the kitchen a little bit? Awesome. Yeah.
They help. Let me put bunny quotes. They
Yeah.
help. Yeah,
Right.
there's like noodles, or I would make my noodles from scratch and give them rice flour, and they just they make a big mess. But here's the
Sure.
thing, I'm not that mom that's like, having a pretty kitchen's more important than having them involved in it. I really get them involved in it. And
Nice.
if they could do, I have a little kitchen set that's obviously kid friendly with the knife and
Yeah.
with the peelers and things like that. They get their
Yeah.
they get their hands in there and they really
Good.
enjoy it. They really
I
enjoy it. It
bet.
becomes very theatrical to them. And so to me, that's so important to be hands-on.
Yes.
And also in the fitness space, because we're from home, they don't know anything else. It's not gonna be
Hmm.
they're not going to go through life and it's going to be weird for them to walk in a gym like this is the first time I'm in a gym. I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like
Nice.
it's just naturally a part of what
That's
we do.
nice.
So they're like,
Yeah, dude.
they don't know any different. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, mom is in the sauna with the red light. They just know she's in there for 20 minutes. That's her
Yep.
little time in there. Hey, mom, how's it going? You know what I mean? They just know that. It's
Yeah.
kind of become the norm for them. And so we instill that in them and the way that they eat. And of course, we have some treats. People think I'm always a stickler about things. I want them to live. When we go on vacation, you could have some ice cream. We could do
Yeah.
this. We could go
Right.
there. To me, it's really important for them to kind of get the whole entire experience of it. But that's not the norm, right? The norm is we don't
Yeah.
veg out on junk food. The norm is we
Yeah.
cook and we enjoy it. And it's
Well,
a beautiful thing.
yeah, it is. I think it adds like a lot to the family and like it gives a lot of spirit to the home.
hmm
At the same time, it's like eating whole foods is just so much better for you. And I think like as a society, we've just all turned to like, eating a bunch of processed food and doing what's ever easiest, especially with like all the to go and the Uber Eats and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys have a great thing going. You couldn't have ended up in a better place, and I'm so happy for you, and you should be so proud of yourself. So, um,
Hey,
yeah,
likewise.
I
You pat
appreciate the
yourself in the back.
time.
Pat yourself in the back right now.
All
Yeah, there you
right,
go.
say less, dude.
No,
All
no,
right, man.
seriously. I really am
Yeah,
proud of you, Andy, and I'm glad that you're taking risks is so, to me, it's like if you don't do this, you're gonna wonder what if. You're always gonna
right.
wonder what if, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And a risk is so much better than a regret.
yep.
And if you, to me, I guess I'm I'm so used to risk just because that's just what I've been doing the last decade.
Yeah,
You win some, you
right,
lose some, and you
right,
refine and you pivot as you go, and
right,
you're gonna figure it out as you go. So
yeah,
I'm so damn proud of you pulling yourself out of just those valleys, because those
Yeah.
valleys happen so often throughout various chapters of our lives, and
Yeah.
even within, like, even business, even personal life,
Hmm.
even professional life, those
Yeah.
valleys are so deep sometimes and dark.
So,
It's so
uh,
hard to get out of those valleys, but I have a
yeah.
saying: if you could get out of that valley, the next peak is going to be higher than your
Mm,
previous peak. But you got to get
amen.
out of that valley, you
Yep.
know? And then
Amen.
I'm in a valley right now. I was in a valley last week, and I told myself that. I said, if I could get out of this valley, this next peak
Mm,
is going to be higher
yep.
than the last peak. And guess what?
Yeah.
There were random peaks that happened, and I ended this week
Yeah.
on a really good note, right? But
See.
last week was really, really crap. I had to
Yeah.
cancel on you. Your caretaker got sick. 1-year-old got sick, and I'm a
Right.
round robin, stomach
But
bug,
guess
flu.
what? You're but
You
you
know?
look where you are here today.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
yeah.
that's a great point. I love
Can
that.
I say, can I just say one thing last,
Yes,
and,
please.
and this is my favorite thing, and I say
Hmm.
this to my team on this meeting today, and I want to say it to you. It's,
Hmm.
I always operate in this. You're going to take L's in life. We all know this. I'm
Hmm.
collecting L's all week last week, right? We're going
Yeah.
to always take L's. L's are inevitable in life. But you
Yeah.
know what? It's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get back up.
Yep.
It's, to me, I don't hit the hardest, but what I tell you, what I do a lot better than the average, I would say. I could take hits, and I could
Yep.
take hits, and I could take hits, and I could get back up again.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
matters. It doesn't matter how hard I can hit. It matters how hard I can get hit and get back up. Okay.
Yep.
And that's what
Word.
entrepreneurship is. Every day, man, it's going to the war room every day. Some days you're like, gosh, you know what I mean? That's a bill
Hmm.
coming through, things like that.
Right.
Payroll is going to happen. You
Yeah.
cut a staff now, a high paying staff. How are you going to make
Yeah.
this? And they look up to you. Guess what? You can't have the bad days because you're the leader. You got to get back up, Tippy. You got
Yeah.
to get back up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They risk their time to come here to work for you. Get back
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
They depend on you. My kids depend on me, to put food on the table. They depend on me. So I got up, like, hurting, you know what I mean? Collecting L's, and I'm gonna get back up again. I get
Yep.
knocked down all the time, Andy. It doesn't look like it on the front end, but I
No.
promise you, I'm
Right.
getting, I'm
Yeah.
getting railroaded some weeks, I'm collecting
Hmm.
L's. And the one thing I want to always leave off with is, like, doesn't matter how many L's you collect. It doesn't matter how punches you collect.
Hmm.
The ability, they've done studies on this, for you to be successful is how fast you can get back up and
Hmm.
recover. And
Yeah.
all the entrepreneurs that are like massively successful will tell you that. It doesn't matter how
Hmm.
hard you can hit.
Yeah. Right.
Rocky. It matters how many
That's
hits you can take and
yo.
get back up again. Rocky.
I love it. Yeah.
Play that song. Cue that
This
up right
I
now.
I know. Well, and I was gonna say, look, check this out. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I was Michael Irvin's personal assistant,
I do remember.
and he had a quote at his Hall of Fame speech: "Look up, get up, and don't ever give up." Woo!
Whew, that's
Look
good.
up, get up, and don't ever give up. So that's exactly what you're preaching, and I believe
Yeah,
it 100%. So, all right, dude. Hey, keep
love
going.
you.
Yeah,
Hey,
love you, man. I love you, dude. And tell Ryan I said I love him, and tell those couple rascals you got that I said what's up too. One day they'll
yeah,
meet their second Uncle Andy,
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, for
Uncle
sure.
Andy. They're gonna be like, Who is this guy?" Be like, "Oh, trust me, he's your uncle. Yeah, he's your guy."
Hey, we have honorary uncles from all
I want to
all
be. I'm
parts
an
of life,
honorary
all
uncle.
chapter. Yeah.
Next time I'm in Fort Worth, I want to see you guys. Okay?
No, now that we have a caretaker, Andy, that's
Yeah.
very possible now,
Sweet. I know. Now that you have
So
a little room to breathe. Yeah.
it was not possible for like a year, and we
Yeah.
had just hired, you know,
Yeah.
in-house nanny, and she actually is my little sister,
Oh,
but
that's
she lives in
awesome.
the in-house, and she's great. She's great, and she's leaving us in October because she herself is starting her own little family with her and her
Oh, good
husband.
for
So,
her.
good for her. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm grateful that she came on board. I have breathing room now, you know what I mean? And I
Nice.
also have a
Yes.
secondary now. So I made some
Right.
connections. It takes a while
Good.
to find people you trust there. I
For
made another
sure.
connection that could take care, and I trust that she will take care of the boys. And we've used her plenty of times. She lives in the neighborhood. So we're
Good.
meeting
Oh,
up.
that's
That's
good.
what I'm
That's
trying to
clutch.
tell you. We're meeting
We're
up,
we're gonna go to Joe T's. Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, please, please. All
Yes.
right.
All
No,
right, dude.
like, I'm proud of you. We want to connect, and we've been doing so much business. I want to know what's going on. And is there Rachel? Please bring Rachel when we meet.
Yeah, she'll be there.
If we,
Yeah.
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 Hey, let's
Yeah.
double date. Let's double date. I
She would
like this
love,
idea.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So, yeah. All right, dude. I'll talk to you
All
soon,
right,
okay?
Andrew.
All right.
Okay, take care.
All right.
All
See you,
right, have a
Tippy.
great weekend.
All
All
right, you
right,
too. Bye-bye.
bye bye.